Today, let's talk about your power as an INFJ in walking away from situation. If you as an INFJ walk away from a situation calmly, peacefully, without the door slam, it is extremely attractive. It has such a power behind it. But the reason why we don't do it so often is because we don't want to play games. We don't want to manipulate people. We feel like this is not intrinsically us. We can stay in a situation. We feel like we would pretend we're like a spoiled kid who can't take what is going on when very often we can. And this is also the reason why people will be so shocked and so attracted to you making that move. But again, we're not going to walk away from a situation. We're not going to walk away from a person to prove a point. This goes against our nature. We know that at the end of it, it is a manipulation tactic. So why should we do it? And, that is what we have to get our minds wrapped around, is that we have to leave situations much earlier, not because we couldn't stand it, not because we want to manipulate the other person, but because this is extremely important for us to show up as the best version of ourselves. And I promise you, once you lean into this, once you embrace this mindset, you will never ever want to go back. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ epic life and you want my help with it, then either work with me one-on-one. You can also check out the INFJ epic life audio guide, and I also offer a lot of free material. Everything you might need and want, you can find in the links in the description. My favorite quote when it comes to boundaries is the following: a boundary is not meant to create distance between two people. A boundary is not meant to create separation. A boundary is a place where I can love myself and you simultaneously. And I believe this is an incredibly important quote that we can work with as INFJs. And once we really internalize it, it will help us to walk away from situations that are not in our best interest. So very often we feel like we need to stay in a situation with a person, or we need to stay psychologically connected to people because there's something that we can give, because we feel valuable if we stay there. We feel like through our sacrifice, we can do something for other people. And so we don't create the boundaries that are necessary for us to love ourselves. It just doesn't feel this way. Because the moment we really open the gates, the moment we, allow those boundaries to sort of dissipate and we create this, just flow of things, we can understand a person much better. We can absorb their energy. We can feel their essence. We can feel their insecurities. We can feel what makes them happy. So we actually get to experience something that is not really open to us if we're not opening up those floodgates, if we're not opening up those boundaries all the way. And if I really think about the situations that, have caused me the biggest pain, but also the biggest joys, it was through situations like this where I, opened this portal all the way and I allowed myself to experience things super intensely. But, we have to understand that experiencing emotions on like this high spectrum isn't necessarily what is going to give us what we want the most. It's like a quick high, but is it really the thing that will allow us to love ourselves, at the same time as we love the other person? Probably not. Because although we are allowing that person to come in and for them to experience everything that they need in order for them to be happy, and independent of if they're healthy or not, right? It's just like a person has different things that will make them happy and unhappy. And of course, there are going to be aspects to this that are going to make the other person feel good that aren't going to make us feel good. Specifically, if we allow people so closely into our space. What we're doing at that moment is we're not really distinguishing between what is them and what is us. So if you look into, let's say, a narcissist, they are operating from the other direction of every person is just part of my world. This is me, this is who I am, and everybody is just playing a part in my world. We, in our most extreme cases, come from the other direction of that is their world and I'm just going to be, a player in their world, an observer. I'm going to allow myself to be inspired and, taking in all that they are. And again, it's a beautiful experience. It can be a very painful one as well, but it is at the end of the day them who we're experiencing. We're not experiencing ourselves. And so every single time you allow this to happen, you are also and inevitably giving other people the power to hurt you, to make you happy, whatever it may be. And in general, this is not a bad concept to work on if another person has proven that they're going to protect you. Of course, there's always this, trust game of I'm trusting you a little bit, you're trusting me a little bit, and so on. But that's not what we actually do very often. It's more like, oh, I see the other person is suffering, so I'm going to give more. I'm going to open up even more. I want to understand them more. I'm going to give them the space that they need. And we hope that through that, additionally, they will see what we're doing for them. But it is impossible. It is not possible for a human being to understand what you're giving to them unless it's not there. It's also not possible for a person to appreciate what you're giving to them if they are going to get it no matter what they're doing. And that's what we have to learn. You have such a healing power. We all do as INFJs. But people who are suffering in general will never be able to grasp that. And so it's not a matter of, oh, I'm going to prove to you how valuable I actually am by taking that away. Yes, it's part of it, but it probably wouldn't be reason enough for us, right? So, let's say you're a mother and you cook your kids lunch, dinner, whatever it may be all the time. You're not going to take that away from them for them to recognize what you're doing for them. You're doing this because this is part of your essence. You just want to do that. But what we need to understand as INFJs is that we also have an inner child. We also have this part of us that needs protection. And our adult self, our mature self, has to be the one who protects that part of us. And that means that we're not allowing people into our space who are hurting us because they're hurting themselves. As much as we want to help them, as much as we feel for them, and as much empathy as we might have for them, we have to protect ourselves first. Because if we don't do that, we're going to be a shell of a person and we will not have helped anybody. Just remember that people don't have the same experiences as you. Everybody of us sees the world the way we are. We don't see the world the way it is. We see the world the way we are. So I automatically will assign to another person like this deep inner life and everything that they might be experiencing, and I will justify their behavior and all of that, when in the end of the day, it's not on me to make a person choose themselves, not choose themselves, create whatever they want to create. It's on me to know that I do have a lot of power. I can be of service to other people. I can be a valuable person to them when I'm feeling my best. And I have to know that I have to protect myself. I have to say that this is a behavior that I don't like. And the fact that we're willing to do that, although that means that we're going to be more open in certain situations and more closed off in others, the fact that we're more sensitive to unjust behavior or unethical behavior in some cases, that we allow people to, express who they want to be, but that we also don't allow them to put us down. If we really stick up for who we truly are, it has an immense effect on other people. So generally speaking, walking away is extremely powerful because people understand, oh, that person is not going to put up with that. There are, big trends online and this is used as tactics for dating and so on. But of course, if it's a tactic, it's not really something that's sustainable. And we see it in other people. We as INFJs We see it so clearly if somebody does something in order to get something, like all of this motivation thing. So, of course, we're not going to do that. But we also have to understand that a person is never ever going to get who you are, what you have to offer, what your value is, what your worth is, if you don't see it yourself. And you seeing your worth means you're not going to put yourself in situations that don't give you what you want most for a long period of time. So, yeah, I can stay in a situation where there's some chaos in order to experience something, but long term, I want peace. I want inner stability. I want to know that there's something that I can hold on to that will allow me to grow. I want to ground myself in one way or another because I've tried everything else and it didn't really satisfy me. I've seen how people, are not being nice to me because I've overextended myself, because I've tried to prove myself to them and also to myself, that I felt like if I'm not helping them, although I could help them, then I'm not being a good person. But that's where we have to discipline ourselves, is to say, no matter what, I have to love myself first. I have to love myself most. I have to make sure that my boundaries are protected, and I'm the only one who can do that. And only then people can love you as well. People can respect you. Because the way you need to be loved, the way I need to be loved, the way we need to be respected and protected is so uniquely us. There's no person on earth, even a person who's super insightful, like an INFJ or any other like similar type, they cannot know that if you don't show your boundaries, if you don't show what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And we want that connection, particularly if we want to help people. But if we're willing to give up that connection, if we're willing to stand in who we are, we actually allow other people to see us. There's so much transformation that can happen through that. And if you say a person can see my value, they might not, but that's on them. Like, that's their journey, and I'm okay with being the villain in the story. I'm okay with being the hero in the story. I'm even okay with being a completely unimportant person in that person's life when they were actually the ones that, changed my life forever. I'm okay with all of that. But I'm not okay with neglecting myself. I'm not okay in staying in situations that are not really helping me to get to the next better place. And so I really encourage all of you, and I encourage myself as well, don't play those games. Of course, we're not going to play those games. We know that they're games and that they're not real. But we also know that it is a real pain that we're feeling if we stay in a situation waiting for another person to appreciate what we're doing for them, waiting and hoping that they will see our worth. That is an act of abuse towards yourself. This is an act of abuse towards your inner child, because what you're essentially saying to your inner child is it's okay to seek love from somebody else and to wait to get it, because probably that's how we experienced childhood in one way or another, that us, sacrificing ourselves for others, hoping that now we will be enough. Well, we weren't. We wouldn't have those inner conflicts if everything was easy as children. As INFJ children, we experience things a little bit different than most people. So probably we didn't get that validation at that moment of, look how much I'm sacrificing for you. Can you appreciate me? Of course, this was our second thing to do. Our first one was, I'm going to be myself. And, that triggered people. So our next thing was like, look how much I'm willing to sacrifice for you. So why are you not willing to sacrifice a little bit for me? We so often subconsciously treat people the way we want to be treated. But people have to be given the choice to sacrifice something for you. And so they're not going to do that if they don't see where your boundaries lie. They won't do it if you're not willing to stand up for your inner peace. They cannot. It's not their fault. They're not like those insightful wizards who will know everything that is going on within you. On top of everything, they cannot see anything if you're not showing boundaries. You as an INFJ are not able to see who another person is if they don't show you boundaries. That's how we read people. That's how we get insights. Be willing to show your boundaries. Be willing to say, I'm going to walk away, even if other people could stay in those situations. For example, I cannot be around drama. I just cannot. It makes me physically uncomfortable. I would like to be able to, but that's not what I want. I want peace. I want tranquility. I want this Zen space. And I have to create that peace within me. We so often try to create that peace outside of us so we can stay connected to people, but it has to be the other way around. We have to make sure that we create that inner peace within us by cutting off connection to people who are not adding to our peace, so they themselves can decide, am I going to make compromises on the way I act right now? And through that, maybe even grow myself by creating a safe and, Zen-like space for the INFJ in my life. Let other people make that choice. That's on them to decide anyways. We as INFJs, we have to creating that peace within us and not the peace outside of us. That's how the real change happens. And with that insight, it's so much easier for us to go no contact. If a person, no matter what is going on through their mind, no matter how well we understand why they're doing this, if they're acting in a way that doesn't make us feel good, if they're acting in a way that isn't with how we would want them to act, and we're actually not asking for too much, that's what we have to stand up for. I know it's not easy to love me. I know that. I know it's not easy to be around an INFJ and to feel comfortable. I know that, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that this is what I need in order to feel my best. And, if you really want to be close to me, you will have to change. And if you can't do that, I wish you all the best. But please stay away from me, because I need to make sure that I protect myself, I protect my inner child, because only then I can maintain to be good. If I don't feel my best, I will lash out at some point. I will hurt people at some point. And I don't want to do this again. I want to be the best version of myself and really be altruistic and live in this idealized world as much as I possibly can, while maintaining, a normal life and allowing myself to experience life to the best of my ability. So that is why I'm leaning into no contact with certain people, why I'm saying I have to make that choice. And I can tell you, this is super hard for me. This isn't something that comes easily to me. I have to remind myself of this over and over again. But that is actually the truth. I know that this is right for me, that I can't be investing so much of my mental space on people who are not able to give me something that makes me feel good. And you can always tell yourself, I can love that person from afar. So remember, boundaries is allowing a space where you can love yourself and the other person at the same time. If there are people who are not, acting in a way that I would want them to be, maybe even people in media, the further I am of them, the easier it is for me not to have any negative emotions around them, because it's not on me to force them to change. What I can do is just be everything that I am. And if people want to be close to me, then they will change. And they will do it because they want to. It will be their choice. It will be what is in their best interest. Very often we feel like we will force people to change, but we're not forcing anybody to do anything. Just like nobody's forcing you to do anything. You're sacrificing yourself for others because you decide to do that, not because others are manipulating you to do that. And so when you take back that power that you had all along and you actually apply it to your life in this way, and you make sure that you set those boundaries and that you're willing to stand on your own, you will see amazing results, not just in you, but also in the people around us. And it can take years, it can take decades, but it happens. So be willing to stand in your truth and know that if people get it or not, that's who I am. And I'd rather be disliked for who I am than to be liked for somebody I'm not. Remember, if you want some more help in creating your INFJ epic life, then work with me one-on-one. get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide, or check out the free material. Everything you need to know, you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.